Okay, so welcome back, everybody. How y'all doing today? Everybody doing good? I'm glad you made it back. Alright, so today we're going to talk about the STAR routine. And this routine is actually a good routine because what it's going to do is going to combine the parenting skill strategies into a consistent parenting routine to help encourage behavior change. So this STAR routine is basically used when you want to get your child to start doing something, such as getting ready for bed, or to get ready to take a bath, or something like that. When you want your child to start doing something, this is a routine that you want your child to do without saying, hey, yeah, go do what I told you to do, or you know what time it is, what you're supposed to be doing, something like that. But following this routine can actually help you avoid those parenting traps, such as the escalation trap, and help you stay calm and help your child stay calm too. So what we're going to do today is we're going to work in groups of 3. So if I can have you 3 to work together, you 3 to work together, and you 3 to work together, it's going to take us about 20 minutes to do this. And what it is we're going to have 3 different roles, and you're going to have a parent, a child, and an observer. Each one of you will play each role. So one time you're going to be the parent, one time you're going to be the child, and next time you're going to be the observer. But if you need assistance, you can look and turn your page in your workbook to page 52 and 53. And it's going to show you an example of the STAR routine. And so from there, I'm also going to leave the slide up on the board that you see behind me, or to your left. And it's going to show you what you need to do in case you need any kind of cues or any promptings to get started. So remember, like I said, we're going to use 20 minutes for the exercise. It's going to take 5 minutes for you to do each role. And after you do each role, you're going to take 2 minutes for a self-evaluation. Now that's primarily for the person playing the parent role. But you're going to take 2 minutes for the self-evaluation. But before I let you guys go, do we all have a person who's decided they're going to be the parent for the first time? Okay, the child and the observers. Okay, so let me explain what you're going to be doing. If you're going to be the observer, what you're going to do is it is your job to make sure that you keep the role play in 5 minutes. You don't want to let it go over 5 minutes, and you want to make sure that you're letting the parent kind of self-evaluate after they do the role play. It's also up to you to make sure that the transition switches from the parent, child, observer. Everybody goes into the next role and start the next role on time. So it's also, you're going to give a little bit of feedback. You're watching the parent and the child interacting. You want to give feedback, but you don't want to be judgmental. You don't want to make them feel like you're criticizing them or talking about them. You want to be constructive in your criticism and your suggestions to them. So something such as good feedback is like, all you can do is simply ask the question, say, well, how did that go, Ms. Jones? Or what do you think you could have done differently? Or even maybe suggesting getting closer to the child. I know a lot of parents like to yell at their children from across the room and go do what I say do. That's not what we want to do. So, but that's types of feedback that you can give to the parent that's in the parent role. Now, if you are the parent and you're playing the parent right now, which is you 3, what you want to do is you want to implement both sides of the STAR routine. You want to talk about what you're going to go through when your child is being compliant, and you're also going to go through it when your child is not being compliant, when they're not listening, when they're not doing what they tell you to do, what you're telling them to do, which kind of happens, which is why we are here. But you want to make sure that the second time around, after you self-evaluate it, the second time around, you want to make sure that you wait 5 seconds. It's important to wait that 5 seconds. It may not seem like it's a big deal to you guys, but it's important to wait that 5 seconds and then repeat the instructions. And wait 5 seconds again, and after that, then you give an appropriate consequence for whatever they're not doing. So remember, after each self-evaluation, you will be doing, after each role play, you will be doing the self-evaluation. So take those 2 minutes and think about how you did well, what could you improve on. Get the feedback from the observer. They're watching you. Parents, be yourself. It's okay to be yourself. You have to practice and show who you are, because y'all don't want you acting like you're somebody else. But be yourself like you would talk to your child. But remember, we're working and practicing to do it in a better way. So, if you are the child, what I would strongly suggest is that you use what your child would say to you. Make it as real as possible. What would your child say to you? Bite me, mom, or I'm not going to do that. Whatever your child says, make sure you do that. But first time being compliant, please do what you wish your child would do. Every time. The second time, you can kind of like role play as to what your child would normally do. And so after that, you make sure that you want to give the parent time to self-evaluate. Please don't give your parent too hard of a time running around, throwing things and stuff like that. So to give you guys an example, can I have a volunteer that's going to come and help me do what we need to do? Thank you, Mr. Bauer. You're a good guy.
Thank you.
Alright, so do you understand? I'm going to be the parent and I'm going to let you be the child. Do you understand the roles like I explained it to him? Is that
It's clear.
Okay, so we're going to go through it for the first time, and I want you to just be the compliant child that everybody wishes that they had, okay?
Okay.
So we're going to have you getting ready to go for dinner, okay? So
Okay.
you can be doing your own thing, you got a little free time, and so this is how it goes. So, Colin, can I have your attention? Thank you for looking at me. I understand you have free time, but now it's time to get ready for dinner. Could you go wash your hands, please?
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. And this is what happens when they comply. You know, I take the time myself to evaluate. I think I did good. You know, calling his name and getting his attention, looking at him, giving him eye contact. You know, being close to him so he knows I'm talking directly to him. But I probably could have given a little time for him to actually interpret what I said without rushing through things. So that's something you want to give your child time to interpret. So now we're going to do the role play again. And so he's not going to comply this time. He's going to act like our children act. Colin, I know you had a little, Colin, I'm talking to you. Can I have your attention, please? I know you had a little time to, you know, play your game, but it's time to get ready for dinner. Could you please put the game down and go wash your hands?
No, I really gotta get this Pokemon. You need my Pokemon.
Colin, it's time to get ready for dinner. Could you please put the game down and go wash your hands and get ready for dinner?
I'm about ready to get my Pikachu.
Colin, since you don't want to follow instructions, I'm going to have to take your game. You're going to go to quiet time for 5 minutes, and then we can go wash your hands and get ready for dinner. This is what happens. So quiet time is over. We're going to come back. So quiet time is over. You can come out of quiet time now. Can you please wash your hands and go get ready for dinner?
Okay.
Thank you. So what kind of happens there is that, you know, you make sure that you, for me, I make sure I waited those 5 seconds. Those 5 seconds are very important. I make sure I waited those 5 seconds so that he can understand that, you know, I'm giving him time to interpret. Also, making sure that he actually understands that I'm talking directly to him. So are there any questions that you guys have before we begin? Yes?
Yeah, there was a, I don't know, maybe a 3 or 4-year-old child. How long do I need to put them in quiet time?
Okay, if you want to look back on your handbooks and your workbooks on page 47, what does that tell you?
Oh, it says 2 minutes for ages 3 to 5, and a maximum of 5 if they're older than 5. Okay, so it would be 2 minutes.
Yes, so that's exactly right. So that's what we want to do. So is there any other questions? If not, we can go ahead and get started with the role play. You know, you guys be as real as possible and just enjoy practicing being your child. All right? And make sure that you guys self-evaluate once you're finished. Take the time to do that. Okay, so what it's like after that is, to me, I think going through the competencies and making sure that I understand, you want to make sure that you take the time, like, when you have a relationship with the parents, of course you joke, you talk, you laugh, but I really think I did good making sure I explained it to them, explained the roles of the parents, the child, the observer, and really focusing on the parents being more so themselves and the child acting as much as their children act, so they can have more of a realistic experience. I think I did a good job making sure that I let the parents understand. I'm referring them back to the handbook, utilizing the self-regulatory approach, making sure I put more of the responsibility back on them instead of me solving everything for them. I think, you know, me being so young, a lot of parents don't tend to want to listen to a young person. However, I think utilizing this approach within Triple P, I think I provided the services the way that it should be provided for someone in my type of situation. So overall, I think I may have met the goals. There are some things that I could work on, making sure I speak clearly, maybe not rambling and rushing through things, and making sure that I make sure that my parents understand what I'm saying. I know sometimes people have a hard time understanding me, so those are some things that I think I work on. But overall, I think we did a good job.